Hey guys, welcome back. It's your boy John again. And yeah, today we're just gonna do a simple number one fade with a comb over. And we're actually going to do a taper on the back and sides to spice it up a little bit. The first time we showed my dad's haircut, we actually did a low fade, and I felt like that was a little too compressed. So we're just gonna try to stretch things out without destroying the shape of the client. And right now, all I'm doing is I just wet the hair, I damp it up as much as I can, and so I'm just taking a horseshoe section, and then I'm gonna pull the hair down and get it ready for block graduation, as I'm doing right now. And for the scissors, I'm using some Say scissors, and these things cut, man. And shout out to my boy Cam, he put me on these. And for the comb, I'm actually using the YS Park comb. This is the 332, and it's probably one of the most versatile combs I've ever gotten. And it makes a big difference on just the combs, because sometimes people use a comb and like it rarely picks up hair. Like, yes, it picks up hair, but not as fine as these, man. Let me tell you, these are some dope combs, man. You guys should try them out. So towards the back, you kind of want to slightly drop the sectioning. So when you're taking the hair, make sure to go at a slant and ensure that although it's still block graduation, we're just gonna take a diagonal section in order to keep it more tapered, so it's not really gonna spike up if you cut it too short. So that's exactly why I'm making diagonal sections and pulling it back away from the side profile and connect it towards the back. And here what I'm doing is, since the hair is going to come over to the right side, what I did is I took a double section for a block graduation. So that's just basically taking the same type of sectioning for the right side of the head, and wherever it's going to lay, that's where you want to keep most of the length. So that's my intention of why I did another section that's similar to the block graduation. So yeah, in order to create the shape, I'm using the 3 open, and that's just basically gonna feed right into the block graduation that I just did. And all it is really doing is making sure that I have a nice base for the entire number one fade, and you'll see the nice gradients towards the end. All I'm really doing here is I'm taking the comb and feeding in through the clipper, and all this is really doing is making sure that I have a nice clean canvas to work on, and to make sure that everything is even before I start doing the entire fade, so that if there are any imperfections, I could easily see that with the dark spots and the lighter spots, so I know exactly where to stop in terms of using corner play. What I intend on doing here is preparing for the fade in terms of trapping it. So you really want to keep the gradients in there. So what I did is started down fading from the 3 and worked my way down to the 2 open. And I'm just gonna work my way towards the back. And once I reach the back, I kind of want to close a little bit so that you retain the fluidity of the fade. So it's just gonna flow right nice into each other. And yeah, so I dropped back down to my Babyliss 1.5 guard, and this is gonna feed nice into the 2 that we sectioned off into. And yeah, I'm just basically gonna drop this fade again and ensure that I keep it nice and gradient, so that I'm not really destroying the overall look. And I don't know, to some of you, but if you're to use the back of the blade of the guards, you're gonna notice that you're not really cutting off a lot of hair, and that's kind of like built into the purpose of using the guards, so that you're not going back and using the number 2 guard again because you messed up and you went a little too deep, and now you got to stretch the fade even higher. So using the heel of the blade will ensure that you don't cut off way too much hair. And for beginner barbers, that's one of the main reasons why I took so long on my cuts, because I kept on pushing the fade higher and higher. So like when I would start off with a low fade, it would end up with a high fade, man. And yeah, you just lose a lot of the gradients if you keep on pushing up the fade. Yeah, so you guys might think that I'm going a little too high with the 1.5 guard, but all I'm really doing is hovering over the area where I used like a 3 or a 2 and just feathering it out with the 1.5. So let's go to our Babyliss number 1 guard, and man, those seniors were getting way too hot, and I needed to let them rest for a bit. So I dropped back down to my Babyliss, and yeah, I just slapped the 1.5 guard on, the number 1 guard on these, and we're just taking the gradient from the 1.5 guard and making it a little bit lighter and soft, so that we could blend it nice into the 0.5 and taper it out towards the ends of the hairs. Yeah, and again right here, I'm feathering out the hair where I use the 1.5 and the 2 guard, not necessarily going up to the 3 this time, just because you don't want to be a little too light on that area. Because with my dad's hair, or like any issues that you may come across with this type of hair texture and this type of canvas, you don't want to push the fade too high, because you're gonna start to notice that it will get lighter towards the occipital bone, and that's the area where you're just gonna see like the gradients start to get lost. And sometimes the only way to fix that is if you push the fade higher. So you really want to avoid that, and you just really want to feather out the clipper, or sorry, the 1 guard, and let the clipper do the work, and don't like put so much pressure onto your client's head. So before I even use the tapering method, I'm gonna start to line things up so that I get to build into this. And when you have a border to work around, you're gonna start to notice that you could detail as you go. And I don't know if that makes sense, but if you start to see the line first, or if you do the line up last, you're gonna notice some flaws in your fade. And yeah, a lot of you guys might notice that. So here's the tip, man. Always line up the sideburns and the C cup and the back of the neck before you start to taper. And I just think that you get a crispier line. I don't know if that's just me. Let me know. So I finally got my seniors to cool down again, and yeah, I'm just gonna use it for the bald line. And I kind of want to have it in like a little arch shape, so that I have like a unique blend to this taper, and not that it's just like super flat or like super pointy. And yeah, I just want to like make it a little bit I just want it to last longer, and that's how I want my fades to go. I just want it to last long, because when I started out my barbering career, man, most of my fades were so tight and you could not even see the blend. So yeah. Let's take the 0.5 guard, and I have the lever closed all the way, and then I'm just gonna work my way up to the lever open, and just use your eyes honestly to see the gradients. So like let's say you need to use halfway open on the lever, and in some areas you kind of want to use it a little bit shorter so that you could get it out. So yeah, just use your eyes, man. Use corner tapping, and you really just want to use like 3 teeth of the blade, and make sure those are the only teeth cutting, so that you're not puncturing out the hair and cutting off a big chunk of hair, man. You really don't want to do that. And honestly, there's like not much to say when it comes to detailing. It all comes to the barber, and it all really depends on how they view the fade. And I can't really explain it. Like, there's just no way to teach how to see a blend better. You just gotta picture the end result in your head and work towards that. Like, you want to walk into a haircut and have that full confidence that you're just gonna pull it off, and just let the clipper do the talking for you, man. You kind of want to make your back taper a little bit more stretched out, so it's not super compressed. So what I did is I'm arcing the fade a little bit, so that, I don't know, man, just the lineup looks so much crispier. And I recommend you guys should try it out, because it will definitely be an eye catcher. Clean it up with the trimmers. Yeah, follow it up with the shavers, and just make sure everything is super gradient, and yeah, your cut will come out blurry, man. just before the top of the line or wherever you say your guideline, you definitely want to use only one foil so that you're not destroying the overall gradients, because yeah, you don't want to push up the fade any higher and take the line much higher. Like I said previously, you just want to keep it nice and tight, but also maintaining a nice gradient. But yeah, I took a full inch on the lever open and making sure that I stretch it out as much as possible, ensuring the haircut lasts as long as possible, man. Let's get it. Using the closed open method, I'm going to start off with my seniors closed all the way, and then I'm going to open it slightly and until it fully opens. That's how I determine how much hair I'm going to be cutting off. And you guys might be asking, why am I using the Babyliss and the seniors? And there's a difference between the fade blade and the taper blade. And with the taper blade, I usually like to set it for my guidelines, and that really ensures that I don't cut off a lot of hair, man. Because if I were to use the fade blade to start off the guidelines, it's gonna set it nice and harsh, man, and it's gonna be almost impossible to take out. With my zero gapping, yeah, you're not gonna take out the lines from the next guideline. So yeah, that's why I use the taper blade from the Babyliss first. Yeah, now switch to your 0.5 guard, and let's start off all the way open, and let's just trap the fade. For what's going to be below that is going to be the 0.5 closed, and I'm just using the 0.5 from Wahl because I feel like this cuts a little shorter than the Babyliss 0.5. So yeah, just keep it nice and tight towards the lineup area, and that's just gonna make it a little bit darker in terms of where you're gonna keep it nice and dark. And since we lined it up first, we're just gonna build towards that, man, and we're not gonna have to push it up any further. So right here, all I'm really doing is detailing, and you really got to use your eyes for this, man. Not saying that you haven't been using your eyes the entire time, but like, yeah, you just gotta see and hear the hairs being cut, because if you're not like looking directly at the cut and looking from it from afar or looking into a mirror, you're gonna notice that cut is not it, man. You really got to pay attention to what you're cutting, and with every stroke from the seniors, it's gonna knock off that hair, so it rarely has any forgiveness in terms of how much hair is gonna be cut. So really be careful if you are using this type of clipper, and yeah, just be extra careful when you're coming up towards the one open or wherever you set the 2 or the 3. So you don't want to push it up way higher than that. And this is just where I like to end off my tapers on the number 1 fades. So yeah, even here when I thought I finished the cut, I'm still detailing, man. You really got to use that corner of the blade, ensure that thing is blurry, man, and your clients will love it. And if your clients love it, barbers love it, and yeah, everyone else around them loved it, man. And yeah, they're just gonna appreciate it for going the extra mile. And yeah, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. That's the end of the cut, but yeah, here's gonna be a B-roll of the entire cut and process, and yeah, you're just gonna see some little action shots, man. yeah, guys, that's the end of the cut, end of the video. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what I can improve on. And man, look at that camera. I can't even focus on the cuts. Too blurry, man.